All right. Good morning, everyone. There she goes. There's a big giant thunderstorm over there. I haven't seen lightning, but I've heard thunder. This is the view from the top of our Airbnb here in Boracay, Philippines. And last night I made this video, which is video number 2, but it was over here that there's this beautiful sunset and I wanted to share it with everyone. And unfortunately it went dark pretty quick and I got sort of grayed out and I'm not sure the video is good. So I'm here to do video number 2 again. Oh, anyways, okie doke. So let's get to it. I love all the roosters. Of course, for me, that's normal living in the country. So pretty. All right, everyone. So let me flip this sucker around and let's chat because, okay, you get to look at me now. Okay, there we go. All right, so if you're a little surprised that this series is not immediately diving into politics and scientific studies and CDC policy and other things like that, which we will get to, it's because what I'm talking about in these early videos is what really matters most. What matters most is who you are and how you are going to make your decisions. And let's look at the terrain we live in, the type of motorcycle riding he wants to do. Let's look at his personality type and our money. How much income do we have? Can we buy a proper motorcycle? Blah, 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 blah. Then at the end of looking at all of that data, you pull out your little pieces of paper and you remind yourself, well, that's my subconscious talking. I'm going to add that into the mix, right? Because truth is, in both situations, your kid can die. So out of love for yourself as a parent, it can be really wise to say, if you get to a situation where maybe statistically everything evens out and you've got an even risk on both sides or close enough that it doesn't matter how many zeros you put behind that decimal point, 0.00000 or 0.000, they're pretty darn close, believe it or not. So you might sit there and go, okay, we've looked through all that. Now let's look at the emotional toll upon ourselves. And you can either say to your kid, we looked at it and we figured it's pretty much 50-50 one way or the other, the risk. But for us as your parents, we really don't want to go through this experience, so we're going to choose that outcome instead. Or you'll say, okay, those are our emotions, but they shouldn't rule the roost. They shouldn't decide what's going to happen. We're going to set them aside and make the decision that actually sets ourselves up for the worst outcome because we think that's better for our son. So, know thyself, because when it comes to vaccine medicine, that's exactly what you're talking about. Okay, I got my kid this injection and I went home and 12 hours later, my child is screaming inconsolably. This has never happened before. Something's wrong. Maybe the doctors are blowing you off. You ignore them, listen to your instincts. You go to the hospital. The nurses start to realize what's going on. And unfortunately, 24 hours later, your child is permanently injured or dead. The other scenario, you choose not to get a particular vaccine. You go on a trip here with your family when your kid's whatever age, and you wander around a few other countries and you encounter, well, measles is no big deal really, because if it's measles and you've got vitamin A and a good healthy diet, you're really honestly going to be fine. But, you didn't get yellow fever or something, or you didn't get a whatever, and you end up catching, mosquito bites. And your kid's that rare one kid out of, 5 million that dies of yellow fever or something. And you're sitting around hating yourself because you could have gotten them that vaccine before you went on vacation. And, so vaccine medicine, no matter what age your child is or what age you are, you're either going to put something in your body or you're not. You're going to do something or you aren't. And that's going to take us towards video number 3, which will be coming up, where we talk a little bit about trust. So your homework right now for this next 4 or 5 days until video 3 comes out is that you need to figure out your fear as a parent and how that lingers within you. It's not something to be scared of. This is not a fear I suggest that you feel guilty about. Please don't. This is an appropriate fear. This is an absolutely crucial feeling as a parent, to fear harm and death happening to your child. And sometimes you're going to play a role. Okay? You either did something or you didn't, and it may or may not be viewed by you as the reason your child died. Which of those bothers you worse? And I'll share. For me, the one that bothers me most is the idea that I did something to my child, that my kid was absolutely perfect as God and Mother Nature created him, and nothing was wrong. And then I went and I did something and I ended up causing an injury to my child. That would bother me more than the other alternative. And trust me, I've thought about this a lot. My kids are boys and they're 23 and 26. I have been actually pretty consistent in that. So, know thyself, think it out, and come to the next video. Am I a simplifier, delegator, questioner on this topic? Do I want to remain that way? Do I want to switch my version to a different way of engaging with vaccine medicine? And if something terrible happens to my child, and really let yourself feel into that, try to find the real gritty truth. What's going to make me feel worse? Because that is a truth about who you are as a parent. And you need to know what that is so that going forward, you are self-aware. I'm going to flip this camera around now. And look at that beautiful, beautiful cloud system up there. I don't know how well you can see it on the camera. It's so pretty. Yay! She's so beautiful. All right, I'll see you guys in a few days. Bye.